Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to OTL Racing here on Twitch for the penultimate round of our ACC GT3 League, season number 5. And we are in Hungary tonight at the Hungaroring. Lovely evening start time, I think. You can see it's you've got a little bit of sunset in the background. Get some lovely shots of that looking off the rear bumper of the car later on. Evening Smudge, evening Loic. Now I am here, but I'm to sort a few things out unfortunately. No, but all good. All good in the hood. So smaller grid tonight, unfortunately. A whole host of drivers that can't make it, which is a shame. But I think, let's go further down. So 25 with us. Gone aboard with you there, Loic, because he's trying to go with someone who is further down the order. You haven't set a time. So yeah, 25 with us so far tonight. I think 26 are confirmed. So there are quite a few that aren't able to make it tonight. A few of the faster guys, a few from the mid pack, sort of quite spread out. But yeah, hopefully have a good evening of it tonight. So we've got Killian out on track, as is Cormac. Going board with Adam Stevens for now. Just the last few minutes of practice. Evening Fitzpatrick. Hello sir. Hello, hello. Good luck tonight, mate. Yeah. Hey, fair play, Loic. I'm just preserving what I have. I have like 15 tyre sets, but I like this one. They're my favourite, so I'm not using them until qualifying. Fair enough then. Let's go with a slightly nicer, closer camera. So yeah, Hungaroring. Odd circuit. Some like it, some hate it. Not one I've actually driven for a while. Not one I've driven much, but now I'm starting to get on. Even only on the pad, I'm still trying to race a bit on ACC. Doing alright in lobbies. I'd get murdered by everyone in the league though. But I'm having fun. But be interesting to drive Hungaroring. Quite a nice winding circuit. Going to need to use a lot of the curbs though. So you imagine maybe AMG and Ferrari, as you can see, top 3 are Ferrari, AMG, Ferrari at the moment. As they can, they can take much more of the curb. They can use them much more. It's going to give them a slightly larger track. Just means they can abuse that a little bit, and yeah, if they can make the most of it and not make any mistakes with that, then they might be with a good shout. But it's quite a windy circuit. Sort of track you need to connect one corner with the next. It all flows very nicely from one corner to the other, and there are 14 turns, a few hairpins as well, quite a few tight corners. It's a nice mix, this circuit. We've got 2 hairpins as the last 2 turns as well. Yeah, just last few minutes of practice going as well. So with those use of curbs, you are definitely going to see a few mistakes though, I think. You see someone trying to take curbs in a car that doesn't particularly like them. We all know how that's going to end. Evening Reese. Rip indeed. No. Hope you're right, mate. Oh. My game just went mad. Did it do it on stream as well? Oh, I don't know. Weird. Okay. Evening, DJ. Evening, mate. Hope you're well. I'll try to read the chat, but I've got a horrendous eye twitch at the moment, and it's really annoying. it's really irritating. But so I can read it. It might just take me a little bit longer than usual because the screen I've got open is on the right hand side. Lack of sleep, I think, is what's doing that. But I'll sort myself out. Right. So Stevens is in there. Everyone's basically in the pits. Ian Hall's still out on circuit. Just himself and Thomas Stocks then. I think 26, I think all 26 that signed up technically and confirmed are actually here for the race. You're away. I'm tired. I don't know, I'm constantly tired at the moment. Yeah, not really a good time of things. Yeah, that's a good shout actually, Reece. So there's 13, yeah, it's quite close. It's at 12 amps. 14, that's quite nice, isn't it, Reece? That's a good spot, that. So I think it's 14 pros, 12 amps tonight. Not too bad. It's better than, it's better than having like 3 of one and like 25 of them, so. And I think most of the protagonists, I think, are here. It's a lovely looking circuit this. I want to catch that sunrise. Is it this corner? No. There's a lovely shot. You can just see the sunset. I think it's weird when they're facing the other way then. So you can see the sunlight hitting the stands there. He's facing into it. Not quite. You get the gist though. So I think we're done then for practice. I think we're basically off into quali. Do what you can at 8 legs. The big thing is to get this home without making massive mistakes. Especially if you're struggling with the car. You get it home. And you get it home cleanly. What you don't want to do is have the massive mistakes where you end up 2 laps down or something. It's just getting it home. Good luck, mate. Good luck, Lowett. Leg. Smudger. Is Smudger in tonight? He is. I mean, he made a joke about top 20, so you'd hope so. Yes, he is. Mr. D. Smith in 13th. That's one of my favourite liveries. Can't really see much of it, but it's a lovely looking thing. Very, very nice. Really like that livery. It's a shame it's sat next to Pike's purple Jaguar, but yeah. What can you do with that? So class standings at the moment. So I'll go through class standings quickly with the AM class. Lowick and Leg are tied. Race. They're 30 points clear of Magato and 41 points clear of Pelicano and Ocamp. But yeah, Lowick, Martin and Martin Leg are both tied on 124 points at the moment. The overall standings, on the other hand, Killian Ryan Meanin is 63 points clear of Christopher Larson. Vita Sousa is third. He can't make it tonight. I think Brugnada's not here this evening, from what I can see either. No, so third and fourth in the standings aren't here tonight, Sousa and Brugnada. So that's going to give Mormon, Lacour, Pike all the chance to catch him. Leonard not here too. Matt Axon, I believe, is here this evening. There we go. Oh, Legs very excited to see Smudge, as you can see. Drive. There we go then. Right, so who's going to hop out of the pits first? Killian's normally pretty at it. Nope, Dean Thompson is the first out. Not mucking around. He's like, the quicker I get this sodding lap over and done with, the better. Then I can not drive this car ever again. Which is, I mean, yes. I think that would be the sentiment I'd hear from him. Also, I like Fitzpatrick's livery quite a lot as well. There you are, Fitz. It's quite lovely. It's just an in-game one. It's just an official in-game real-life livery, but it's nice. I like it. Stands out because he hasn't mucked around with a, you know, in-game editor. It's just nice looking car. Nice and simple. So then all flooding out onto circuit. A few still sat in the pits, but it might play into their hands. In fact, there isn't too many cars tonight compared to maybe what we would sometimes have. Oh, Cormac pulling off the circuit then, coming back into the pit, so he wasn't happy with something. But yes, not the longest circuit, in so much it's got so many corners. It's cut up quite quickly. It's 2.7 miles, so it's decent length. 4.3, nearly 4.4 kilometres. Cars all over the shop. Absolutely all over the gaff. Do let me know if you can hear me fine as well. Just trying to play with the positioning of my microphone a little bit. So yeah, just correct. There's an MSL Lexus if ever you saw one. Just behind Kieran Sharp in the OTL Lexus actually. Feels like I got slightly, I don't know, I'm getting weird like laggy movements from everybody. Maybe that's just me. We'll find out. I can rejoin if it does happen. Jake Coombs in the Ferrari. As I said, those in the AMG should go well round here. Joe Lacour in his best friend. The Audi. I'm just going to call it the Audi because if I don't call it the whole technical name correctly, he'll have my guts for garters. Cool, that sounds fun, Baz. Ah, Baz, very kind. End of year work conference. Ooh, you know how to have fun. Well, I bet you couldn't wait for this evening. Been looking forward to it for weeks. Evening, Baked Bean. Haven't seen you for a little while. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm not bad. Not too bad. Been better, been worse. Can't complain, really. Getting as drunk as quick as... But fair enough, yeah. I want to have as little memory of this evening. That's what you're thinking. I'm not. You're clearly thinking, right, I want as little memory of this evening after it's happened. So just the quicker I absolutely pyjamaed, then the better. Fair enough. Oh, I can't see you racing around here though tonight, but needs must. Don't worry, we won't be banning you for a year or any of that, Mumbo Jumbo. You know, you can't avoid stuff like that. It is how it is. So life goes sometimes. We look forward to seeing you next week. Hopefully 90 minutes of Spa next week for the final round. Gagging for that already. I think that should be superb. Hopefully dry. I mean, from my point of view, I don't know. It may be. I'm not the one who decides, you see. So, yeah, we'll see. So look all then. Come around the corner. So sharp in with the first timer. 45.381. Thompson not a bad time there. Only 8 tenths back. Joe LaCour 36 thousandths. So very, very close to sharp. Very, very close. Current leader then, 143.884 then. You can see Larson, Ryan Meenan and Moorman all going ahead of Sharp, with Stevens as well then. So just getting into the rhythm now, getting the tyres warmed up. Say second and third lap, you should see some improvements. It's going to be an interesting one. It's just sort of track that some people just don't feel like hooked up round here. Said the AMG should be good. I know you saw my leg earlier saying he didn't feel very comfortable with it. Of course, that's not a corner cut, or that one. I suspect it might have both been, but I'm not sure. Killian right behind him on circuit. First and second in the timings at the moment, and first and second effectively on circuit, right close to each other. Adam Stevens driving very well. Christopher Larson in his big boy BMW. Another simple livery, but one I quite like. So I like it when they keep it simple. People like to go mad when someone just goes, here's a couple of colours, I like these, they'll do. And yes, I'm more than happy with that. So it's been good to have him back racing with us this season, after a season out due to internet problems after moving house. As is always the way, doesn't matter what country you're in. It's always a problem. So coming out the final corner then, just under 10 minutes to go. Moves up to 5th, so just under a tenth behind Cormac, who is in 4th at the moment. There's Killian Fairyn, still going strong. A few of them still improving on their previous times. Still got a few to set a lap as well. Pike is Fairyn. How is he doing the Jag around here? I'm not sure. I think he's struggling a little bit for grip, he was saying to me. But the setup's pretty decent. So he's just going to have to temper it and just manage it during the race. So yeah, penultimate round of the season next week, off to Spa for the full hour and a half, final race of the season. So it should be pretty awesome, looking forward to that, an immense amount. So it's pretty much Killian's to lose at this juncture, but I mean it's got a good lead, 63 points, but that is still less than you get for a race win in this championship. It's quite a high scoring point system. We give points all the way down to 32nd, giving it only to the top 16 in a 40-car race when they're all here is a bit harsh. It's a little bit too picky, so yeah, we're spreading the love a little bit more than that. So that 43.8 from Jerome is still the quickest time, but I think that's about to be improved as long as he didn't invalidate there. He does, but then will Killian and Cormac both improve? Killian only 2 tenths back now. Cormac himself as well in 3rd, a few tenths up. Wouldn't be enough to catch his brother up in 2nd, but still going strong. Kieran Sharp in the Lexus, we know how good he is in that. He quite enjoys Hungaroring as well, but whether his car will quite have enough round here, we'll have to wait and see. So a solid all-round machine, but as I said, we know how quick he is as well. He's going to be one of the contenders for sure, but So we'll be able to fight for the race victory. We'll have to wait and see. Adam Stevens. So jumped in late. He's had 2 second positions so far. He's only done the second half of the season. So he's done Bathurst and Monza so far. And come second both times out. Christopher Larson, Joe Lecor in the pits. So they're coming back out. Oh, yellow flag. Someone going a little bit wider than they were hoping to. So I'm not massively surprised. Like I said, you've got a few cars quite close to each other on the circuit. So it's so windy, it's so easy to catch up the car in front. So it's a bit annoying for Adam. He's going to catch that car in front of him. I think that's Zamfir Radu. But fair play to him there. Didn't go and try and just charge past him. Just decided to abandon lap. And he'll come back out for one more go. But that's good. Don't want people just trying to barge their way through in qualifying. That's a naughty. Something more if we see any more of that, I think as well. It'll be a fair bit harsher on that. It's one thing if the person's being blue flagged because they're on an out lap or something, then understandable. But if they're on a hot lap, you leave them to do their lap. And yeah, it's good. I think it's good contact there. You do see a lot of people getting a bit angsty in quali. They just want to fly through and they want to fly through now. Bonhole behaving well. Some Acton up in 7th. Quite a way up on his time though. Oh, not quite enough to pip Christopher Larson for 6th, but much closer than he was. Pike as well coming across the line. 2.4 back. So you can see there's a bit of a gap here between the likes of Joe Lecor and Andrew Pike, and maybe someone like Jerome Mormon or Ryan Meenan, who they could probably, they're not miles off. Usually, Lecor and Pike are both normally in that mid-pack, like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th kind of space. So Few just struggling here, I think. I was about to say Fitzpatrick struggling. He's popped up to 8th now, so struggling a little bit less than he was a second ago. Evening, Damien. Sorry for not saying hi. I've still got 3 screens and I still haven't got enough to display all sorts of info. So yeah, I have to go away from the chat every now and again. That's when people start talking. My luck. Evening, Quinton. Yeah, this is it divides this track. Some people think it's great. Some people think it's horrendous. You don't find many people in the middle. People go, "Oh yeah, it's really fun, really enjoy it," and other people go, "Oh, it's nasty." Don't seem to find many people who go, "Nah, it's all right. Not my favourite, but I don't mind it." It's that way. It's that kind of flowing. A lot of the corners, one flowing to the next, into the next. You do need to hook it up, and I think that's why you're seeing the gap in the times at the moment. It's it's not the widest circuit. You want to use a lot of the curbs, and some cars not very happy with that. You see Pike there struggling for grip like he said he would. So he's down on his time at the moment. Fitzpatrick 3/10 up on his time that he set the previous lap. Let's get him into the 44s. Might just get in and around Larson and Acton if he can gain another 10th. 3.5 minutes to go now then. So a couple more laps. There's all that curb on the runoff. Yeah, a very good last sector there. Pops up all the way into 6th. Nearly gets Stevens for 50. He's not that far back from Sharp in 4th. He was, I think, done. Sharp is in the pits. And it's Smith as well going back to the pits in the second by the looks of things. Yeah, he was. So he's up in 10th. Loic Martin with a great qualifying. By far the best amateur driver at the moment. Quite close once you get to that sort of mid-pack though. 9th downwards. So a few cars I'm surprised not to see slightly further up, but maybe finding this track a little bit more difficult, or there's maybe not suited to them as much as I thought it would be. Or there's every chance of getting caught in traffic. Every chance. So hopefully no one being too aggressive in qualifying. Someone going off there, that's them done. So Joe's still pushing, he's got Cormac behind him. He was a 10th up on his time, wouldn't move in many positions. So Cormac's going to have to be nice and patient here and have to sit in. He might even have to abandon lap if he gets too close. And Joe's still on one. Just a couple of 10ths up on his lap time as well, which would gain him 2 spots. So, oh yeah, Cormac's done. If he wasn't, he is now. Yeah, so Joe hopefully going to nail this final, well, maybe possibly final lap for him. So they'll push him ahead of Loic Martin and Daniel Smith. currently. We need to gain another few tenths to hop up towards the Christopher Larson Matt Acton fight on the 4th row. It's about 30 seconds left of his lap, and then he'll have one more time round. But clearly so far his best lap in this session. It's about 3 or 4 tenths up, goes up and down a tenth here or there from one corner to the next. So watch and make sure he nails those apexes now, floor it as early as possible. And come around this final corner, hooks it out wide. Late apex, nails the throttle. And he is going to improve. As long as that wasn't an invalidation, that will be an improvement. And he is up to 9th. Great lap. So actually Jake Coombs got up into 9th spot. And Jellicoe, yeah, didn't get another 3 tenths to gain any more spots, but he'll be pretty happy with that. Those extra few places on the grid will be very, very useful come the start of the race. So Cormac and Kieran in 3rd and 4th, both in the pits. They are definitely done. So Stevens could definitely catch at least one of them. Kieran Sharp not far in front, just over a tenth, and Adams a couple of tenths up on his current lap. So final corner then. He's still up on his time, as long as he nails his final turn. This is enough of the curb, but not too much that the game doesn't take it off him. And there we go, he does get past Kieran up into 4th, so Kieran will start in 5th spot at best, it looks like. No one really behind him improving much on their time. Matt Acton looks like a 10th up, but the gap is a little bit bigger than that between him and Larson in 7th, so he's going to need to push a little bit harder. Larson's also about the same up on his lap. Matt Acton's lost a little bit of time there, previous couple of corners. Larson and Fitzpatrick still pushing. Kieran Sharp not massively out of reach for either of them if they can nail the final lap. So most cars in the pits then. Some still out on circuit. So Acton a few tenths down now, so he's probably about finished. Yeah, comes into the pits. Adam Stevens still pushing. Okay, we'll need a couple of tenths. No, he's not. He's definitely done it. That's just an in lap. Yeah, not in the pits, but checkered flag. So, yes, he's done. Andrew Pike. Oh, pops up into 8th. What a clutch lap that was. Bringing that home right at the death of qualifying. Just ahead of Matt Acton onto the 4th row. What a, by far his best lap. He was down in like 15th, 16th, I think. That's a wonderful end to the session for him. Martin Legg pops up into 16th as well. Gains a few more spots. So well done to both of them. Let's go to the timetable then and have a look. So 1:43.092 is your pole time. Nearly a half a second clear of Killian Ryan Meenan in 2nd to Ferrari and Mercedes on the front row. Another Ferrari on the 2nd row of Cormac Ryan Meenan with Adam Stevens alongside him. Kieran Sharp in 5th next to Desmond Fitzpatrick in 6th. Christopher Larson and Andrew Pike with that last ditch effort in 7th and 8th. Matt Acton next to Joe LaCour in 9th and 10th. Rob Lovelace, driver we didn't go on board with during that session. There was a few we didn't see. Yeah, I can see. I did watch you a couple of times. I was like, I can't tell if that's lag or just no grip. I know Fish has complained a little bit of the same. So he hooked up a lap at the end. Other than that, was struggling like mad. Yeah, this looks slidey. This track looks slidey. Lexus, I think the Jaguar, or the Shagwar, as we'd like to call it. Good luck though, Kieran. That just feels weird, you're calling you that. Good luck, Sharpie. Yeah, I can't call you Kieran, that's just weird. But yeah, hopefully, nice clean start to the race, and then we can have 60 minutes of lovely racing action. So it should be good, as long as it can be nice and clean. There is enough good battles on here, I think, to have a good shout. You say Dean Thompson had a cracking qualifying there. Fair play to him. 3rd, driver in the quali standings. Let's have a look. Let's go further down. I can probably around for that camera. So yes, Tom Stocks, see at the back. So, but fair play. He will keep going. And he will only get better the more he drives. So fair play to him. But yeah, Dean Thompson up in 17th. So only Leg and Loic Martin ahead of him in the AM order. So fair play. Well done. Just gets ahead of Ocamp. So maybe slightly better for the McLaren round here. He struggled with that a lot. I know in the Silverstone race, I think he finished 6 laps down. Couldn't stop the thing from spinning. But he got to the end. 6 laps down, but he kept going for an hour and a half. So massive kudos for that. But Loic Martin with a great qualifying. So the outlier there in 13th. Just ahead of Daniel Smith. So Loic Martin, there's no slouch. It's just consistency, I think, with Loic. He got decent pace. It's just the odd mistake here and there that pushes him further back, I think. Which a lot of the amateur guys, I think, are like that. Even Jay Higg. Yeah, I think a lot of the amateur guys are like that. They have, he's got really decent pace, a lot of them, but just hooking it all up in the same lap. But it's a consistency thing, which with ACC is not easy. It takes practice. That's why it's such a good game, though. You get out what you put in. So let's go on board then. Just reading. No team starts, please, Leg. I will block you this time, says Smudge. Leg said no promise. Daniel Smith, I will marzipan you, or whatever his name is. What's marzipan? Yeah, bless him. He's too old for that. His memory like a. He's got a brain like a sieve. That's gonna be fun. I'll marzipan you all the way onto the grass. He does like a push onto the side of the track, doesn't he? Mr. Marzipan, amongst other things. Dear oh dear. What an idiot that man is, eh? Will he still drive for them next season? Who knows? Probably. Should he? Debatable. Good bloke? Unlikely. It's a very colourful grid, isn't it? Very nice. Eclectic mix of styles. Some more garish than others. Let's look at the helicam then as we go round on our formation lap. So evening race, it will be a little bit... I would say it's not, it's a bit slidey, but I think it's more the cars as much as anything else, because the track conditions are optimum. It's rubbered in. Qualifying was literally the hour before, so the track is rubbered in because it carries over in ACC. So one of the few times Killian has not been on pole position in this championship. So let's double check how many times has he not been pole. 1. Once. Okay, the only time he wasn't on pole was at Silverstone in the wet, where Sharpie just absolutely annihilated the field. It was just unbelievably good. Just so good. Other than that, he has qualified on pole for every single race. Killian still has that record of a first or a fourth. Won the first 2, came 4th in the next 2, and he's won the 2 since. So there's 2 more left. Yeah, we're starting on the front row, but alongside Jerome. So another driver, Jerome, surprised hasn't won a race yet. He's got 2 podiums out of 6 races. We know he can do better than that. Again, has immense pace, but just hasn't quite made it stick on a consistent basis, which again was a bit of a surprise. We had our 90-minute Imola race where he was superb. Making sure they get heat in those tyres is important now as well. Really do need to make sure you warm those tyres and those brakes up on that formation lap. Wasn't something you had to worry about too much pre 1.6, but now you really need to be on it. Everyone further back, hopefully coming along just fine. Having to give it a bit of a boot full to catch up. Coming down the straight. So forming up 2 by 2 then. So ready to get underway. Second to last corner, like I said, a couple of hairpins to get that long sweeping left hairpin. Then you get the final right-hander. Warman, indeed. So starting on the right-hand side. So we'll get the inside line coming into turn number 1, but has Killian on his left, who's actually 2 of those pole positions this season has made a bit of a meal of and ended up not technically starting first, not crossing the line in first, but it's going to be very close this time. So we've got the start procedure right, hopefully, and no drive-throughs. We will see. And it looks good, so we are away then. Come down into turn number 1. Jerome will have that inside line. Killian Ryminen on his left, Cormac behind him. Kieran Sharp just behind Cormac alongside Fitzpatrick. He'll sweep through nice and gently, it seems. I'm sure there'll be a bit of door banging. We'll catch up with what happens later on, but hopefully everyone will get through nice and cleanly. That's good so far. So good start from Jerome then. A bit of door touching from Rich Evans and Thomas Martin, but they're all okay. Oh, and that's Dean Thompson off after a good qualifying. And he spins it round, so maybe just that struggling with the car a little bit. Quite gone to plan for him then. Oh, and there's the car off again as well. So who was that? Was that? We wait for the standings to sort themselves out and go on board with that in a second. I know, Baz. I know it's absolutely mad. So was that? Yeah, my game's going mad. So thank you. So I think that was Mav Gardner then. So there are less MSL drivers on the grid tonight. Should be a bit easier to see, but the way that it does that irritating thing with the standings on the first lap really does make your life a little bit harder than it should be. But hey ho. So unfortunate, a few people having a few issues. Shame for Dean Thompson, qualified really well. I know he's been struggling with that car a little bit. So Christopher Larson, what's gone on there then? Oh, so he's had a massive off at some point. Again, we've missed that. So who has he got involved with, or is it all on his own? So he's down 1 from last. Only Mav Gardner behind him, so it was a big off. So I'm not going to click the replays on this. We've got custom liveries and that does balk the replay system, unfortunately. Bit of a shame. Again, another thing that hopefully the game can work at and improve, but for the moment it is what it is. So doesn't look like he took anyone with him if he did have an accident. Whether it was just his own off, we will have to wait and see. We'll find out later on. He's all over the back of Gerard Ocampo though, so he'll try and make his way through. Let's go back on board with the front runner though. So he's pulled the lead now, 3/4 of a second back to Killian. Cormac still in pursuit. Adam Stevens with Kieran Sharp just behind him. As I said, Kieran saying that he's finding the grip a little bit wanting in that Lexus. It's a bit of a death trap at the moment. Fitzpatrick and the call just behind them. We've got Andrew Pike in his purple Jaguar up in 8th. Again, doing a great job in that. You see here, Jake Coombs not far behind him. Another Ferrari. He's got Rob Lovelace all over the back of him. Very patriotic Bentley. Brexit Mobile. So another driver who's not quite had the run of things in the races he's took part in this season. So another one to join us after the league started. Couldn't sign up originally due to work conflicts, and then annoyingly for him it changed after all the sign-ups had shut. So he hopped in when there was a couple of spots available. And Maxson just behind him in the Aston Martin. And then Martin Legg in the AMG, about another second back in the Pepsi AMG. So Daniel Smith, how's he faring then? Decent start from him, up in 14th at the moment. Martin Legg in the head of like Martin. A great first couple of laps for Martin Legg. Superb start to the race for him. So Richard Evans in the background in 15th. Still going well so far. 3rd in the AM standings. If it was to stay as it is now, obviously unlikely to stay as it is now. There's a long way to go. Long way to go. So Killian has caught right up now then to the back of Jerome Morman. Evening AJ, evening ma'am. But yeah, it's weird. It's odd, isn't it, Baz? Morman's clearly really quick. Just hasn't matched it together in many races. He was having a good fight with, I can't remember who it was, with Joe LaCour and one other. I can't remember who else the other driver was. Oh, there's that beautiful sunset in between the trees. Very nice, isn't it? Lovely. Lovely looking thing. And yeah, just got caught up. Joe had an accident and just was very unlucky. So where's Fitzpatrick? Because Fitzpatrick and Joe LaCour, I think, have had a coming together. Well, they've had an off at the same time. Both popped up on my feed at the same time. So quite what's happened there remains to be seen. We'll have to find out later on. Also, Jake Coombs and Andrew Pike. Yeah, so they hopped up a bit. So Fitzpatrick just... yeah, I'd be interested to see where there... Because the streaming tool on this game, it tells you when there's been a collision, but it tells you when there's been any contact. So for the first lap, apparently there's a million crashes because you get a little door touch here or there, and the stream tool just goes full panic attack. So yes, I unfortunately can't trust it as much as I'd like. It's what it is. So on to lap number 4 then. So Coombs trying to catch up with Pike and Joe LaCour just ahead. They had a great fight last time out at Monza. They're very unlucky, they got very close, just a little bit of touch, and Joe went round unfortunately in that fight. Joe did catch back up though as the race went on. So Joe is so familiar with that Audi, he drives it so often. You can see Pike struggling a little bit more, just later apex days, but he's rescued that a little bit. So lost a little bit of time though to LaCour. He's close enough, isn't he? Look, just over, just under half a second now actually. Then they've got Jake Coombs a little bit further back with Loveless trying to follow him through. Front 2 though, Ryan Moonen all over the back of Moorman. So how will Moorman hold that pressure? You can see, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some early pitting this evening. Yeah, oh, you like this track then, AJ? It's like I said, it's a weird, I was saying earlier, it's a track that some like, some really don't. You know, some are... You get some tracks that are a little bit more opinionated than others for the drivers. This is one that some really enjoy or seem to really struggle with. Can depend on the car sometimes, especially on ACC. You know, the characteristics of each car are very different, and that does make a difference to whether you're going to like it or not. You know, you put someone in a car they don't like around a track like this, and they'll probably hate it. You have to nail a lot of apexes around here, otherwise you are going to be having a nightmare. So one corner flowing into the next, it all makes a large difference. So Kieran Sharp's doing there. Still going strong, not too far back. Can see the leaders up the road. So just ahead of him. That's a loud Lexus, isn't it? Hearing me, that's a noisy boy, that is. Adam Stephen using all of the road. Trying to take a little detour into central Hungary for a little sightseeing rather than take the corner. Well, that's thumping mechanics going on there, aren't there? I hope that's well made, otherwise that's going to be falling apart. But he's bringing it round. He'll hope that Stevens and Cormac start to hold each other up shortly and then let him catch them. So Cormac's about 2.6 seconds back from Killian, who we saw is a few tenths off of the lead at the moment. So Joe LaCour put a little bit of a gap on Pike, though Coombs now getting all over the back of the Jaguar. You've got Matt Acton and Loveless as well in the battle. Further back, teammates from the RCI race last weekend. Coombs all over the back of the Jaguar now. He's going to be able to hold him off though. It's going to be difficult. So the Ferrari should be the car with the extra pace, but the Jaguar at the moment has got track position. So he's going to have to defend like a god now. He's going to keep that thing as close to the apexes as possible, get the great exit. Coombs is going to be pushing hard here. You can see that Pike using all of that little start of the slip road into the pit lane. Used it very nicely. As much track as you can find. Love this camera shot as well. Great sense of speed. You see the headlights on, it's glowing on the road. Quite a few drivers will have those turned on, not that they need to. Or that might. Oh, there is a bit of contour. That looked net coded to me, but that might just be the shitty camera. Unfortunately, that looks like Pike getting out of the way there. Jake Coombs out, I think, is going to Wait for him there. Oh, we only do one split. Yeah, Vitor isn't racing tonight. So that's a bummer. Massive bummer is what it is. Also, I did a swear in that. I don't know if you noticed. I don't do that very often. Slip of the tongue. Naughty me. It's about as bad as I get, isn't it? So, shame then. So, such close racing. It looked like he'd gone quite late on the brakes, but it looked like he'd avoided it. Must just be that camera shot. I'll have to see that later on, whether there was some netcode going on there, because it looked like he's missed him. And then suddenly Pike spun round it. It's like, oh, okay. Very weird. So we'll have to see later on. That's a massive shame, though. Coombs waiting, you know. It's not in the rules that you have to wait anymore, because it can cause more problems than it solves. But actually there, he was like, do you know what? I can get out of the way. I feel bad. I know it was my fault. There's a massive bit of off track there. A bit of runoff. I'm just going to go sit there because I know it's my fault. I'd rather give the place back. Which is fair enough. If you can do it safely, then, you know, it's a nice thing to do, because then you don't benefit. And, you know, you have a better time than the person you made contact with. So I think we've lost a couple of drivers then. So Ocamp, yeah, is at the back of the grid now. So we lost Fitzpatrick and one other. Probably one of the cars that had an off very early on. Ocamp trying to make a move on Bremson. Two fighting at the back. It's the Lexus and the Nissan. It's a bit of the runoff there at Ocamp. But hopefully they'll keep it nice and clean. But it'd be nice if they to still have some fighting. Christopher Larson, after having the nightmare he's had at the start, which is a massive shame. Well, look at the Cordia. That is a poorly looking car, but fair play to soldiering on. So trying to work out who that other driver was that we lost from the race that isn't here now. Not sure, but I'll have to have a think as we go on then. So these two still pretty well attached. That gap though growing bigger and bigger back to Cormac. Cormac in third, Anderson Stevens still all over the back of him. Kieran Sharp only a second off the back of these two then. So Magato up to 15th. Magato took advantage of those making mistakes and being involved in things. Andrew Pike, I think, got past as well. Yep, so they're up back past Magato. So back up to 15th. They've got Ian Hall to try and chase down now. They'll probably both want to try and have a good charge through the order. About another 10 minutes then until the pit window opens as well. So I would have thought undercut around here might be quite useful with how congested it can be. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a few come in quite early. With Max, and let's see how he's faring. So a little bit of space now between him and the rest. He's got Loveless about 1.6 seconds behind him. He's got a 3.5 second gap between him and Joe LaCour. Joe LaCour in a bit of a world of his own at the moment. It's 9.3 seconds separating him and Kieran Sharp. So Sharp a long way up the road. Sharp still trying to become part of that fight with the two in front. Always forget how loud that engine is before we switch to it. Grunty little thing, but it's a lovely noise. So just struggling with how far it's drifting out wide, just trying to keep it on a leash. And Sharpie's quite good at his setup, so yeah, if he's not been able to get that to feel as he'd like, then you know it must be a bit of a struggle. Top two still less than a second between them. 6/10 between Mormon and Mormon and Ryan Meenan. Sousa's not even racing. You know, Sousa or Dan lost tonight, unfortunately. So yes, we have the pit window will open when there is 37.5 minutes remaining. So we're about a quarter of the way through this race now then. Still only a half a second between the top two. Just being gentle, being very cautious. So now Jake Coombs has caught up to Ian Hall now then. So one of only two Porsches on the grid, go side by side. Going for the right hander. It's a good move there by Jake. And, Andrew will be hoping. I've very rarely called him Andrew. I just call him Fish because Andrew Pike, that is Mr. Fish. Yeah, hopefully for him, he'll be trying to make his way through. He'll want a good fight with Ian Hall. So one of only two Porsches on the grid, himself and Magato are 14th and 16th at the moment. Solid driver is Ian as well. Sitting 11th in the standings, been consistent mid-pack, hasn't quite had the pace to really get into the top 10 and really trouble that sort of top 10 group, pack, but it's always right on the cusp of it, which is quite good in this too, especially when in some of the races that have been fully loaded there haven't been as many missing as there are tonight. You know, he's there or thereabouts. Doesn't get all the luck sometimes as well. Doesn't always go his way, so but he musters on, keeps going, and yeah, he's driving that well again tonight. So Coombs ahead of him now then, coming to the final corner, and Pike, that's very wide. Not sure if that's his line of attack around there. It does look like he likes to take a very late apex, means he can get on the throttle just that little bit earlier. With Daniel Smith then. He's got Loic Martin and Martin Legg ahead of him, so Martin Legg currently the leading AM driver. Yet again, himself and Loic Martin, those two cars right in front of Daniel Smith. Currently tied on points at the top of the amateur standings. So still a few fights going on in that mid-pack. Christopher Larson a bit further back, pushing his way back through with that slightly second-hand looking BMW now. So Martin Legg then, I think, must have gone off there because he's definitely, yeah, I think he's had to collect himself. So has he had a large enough off that it's, I think he may have just gone on the grass there because he clearly was just getting back up to speed. But yeah, Loic Martin and Smith have both gone through. So Loic Martin up into 9th, Smith into 10th, Martin Legg down into 11th now. Andrew Pike still trying to find a way past Ian Hall, but not getting close enough. Ian Hall driving very well at the moment. Most irritatingly placed advertising bridge that is, but oh well. Come around the apex and you literally can't see them, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, very consistent line he takes, so yeah, I think that's more controlled than maybe it looks initially when it goes out wide on the entry. So just over 4 minutes to go then till the pit window opens, so I think we will see some dive in pretty much immediately. Quite getting very close to Ian, but just, oh, hello, and who is that? That is Richard Evans. Gets it turned round as Magato comes through, so he'll be down into 16th it looks like. Ian Hall and Pike, I think they had a little bit of contact maybe just after or just before that. It's hard to catch, but you can see now that so yeah, he did get past. There might be a little bit of contact as they've gone too wide as they Pike has been making the pass, but he has got through. And they've got Jake Coombs again right in front of him. So obviously we were fighting slightly higher up until they had their little spat earlier on. On board with Legg then, right behind Loic Martin and Daniel Smith, Mr. Aero Smudge. So Leg and Martin tied, as I said, in the amateur standings at the moment. Exactly the same amount of points. And Martin Leg currently leading on countback, as he's been top amateur twice. Just go on normal point standings. I think like maybe in front, but it goes on the amateur standings and the count back off that. So maybe having a look, not going for it though. So they're not that far ahead of Jake Coombs and Pike, who have bridged a little bit of a gap now to Ian Hall. He'll try and come along with them. 2.5 minutes until the pit window. So anybody that's thought, right, I want to get in nice and early, will be trying to nail these last couple of in laps. And then chuck it into the pits and get a good lap or two out. Can make the world of difference. So Pike now about 1.5 seconds ahead of Ian Hall, the Porsche behind him. Okay, now you do see quite a lot of undercutting happen, especially here. I think we'll definitely see a fair bit of that. So the order, once everyone's pitted, is going to be very, very interesting. Can all hinge on a very good in lap and a very good out lap. Can make such an enormous difference. Ryan Meenan is a bit of a master of that. He's used those huge. I was going to say hugely. It sounds like something Donald Trump would say. I mean, it's bigly, isn't it? Bigly. Yeah, it's used something he uses to his advantage quite a lot. He seems to come out of the pits quite a bit further ahead than he was when he went in. Pike getting very close to the Coombs again then. So obviously it was the other way round earlier when Coombs did tap Pike round, but he waited for him. Didn't feel like he could have. I mean, it was clearly his fault. It's obviously him to blame, and he knew that. So he's pulled off. There was a big bit of runoff there. He decided to move over and let him through, which was fair enough. Waited until Fish could turn it back round and get going. Look around the outside. Maybe not going this time though. So Jake using all of the runoff there and some. Might be a track we see a drive through or two at then. Said all that curb usage, if you go a little bit wider than you maybe are allowed to, and you only have to do that 4 times in the race and you would get a drive through, they will be warned each time they get one as well. So once they're on 3, they know next one is a drive through penalty and that'll hurt. Never want one of them. Never good. So pit window is about to open. Yellow flag out very briefly, so someone going wide then. So they won't quite be at the pit entry at the time they want if they really wanted to pit as early as possible. There we go, pit window. They probably could have done it. I think it would have been okay. They would have got to the pit entry line just at the right time. Cormac coming around behind them. He's driving well, but a bit out of touch at the moment. Got Bremson, I think, coming in there then. From 24th. It'll be interesting to see if anyone joins him first time in. Stevens and Sharp still out on circuit. Joe LaCour, he's coming very early then. So LaCour coming in straight away. I think it's probably a wise move sometimes. Get out of the action, especially if your car isn't feeling maybe as good as you know it can. Robert Lovelace then following him in the Bentley. So I think we're supposed to see a few more. Jake Coombs coming in the Ferrari. So giving up on that fight with Andrew Pike. You see Pike coming around here. So Coombs coming in very early on. So not too many coming in straight away. Front runner staying out on circuit though. Sarah T. Girl, thank you very much for the follow. I assume you're the same Sarah from the Discord server that joined recently. If so, good to see you. Yeah, thanks very much for the follow, much appreciated. So we've got 36 minutes left of this race then, 13.5 minutes left of the pit window that's just opened. So you see a few mid-pack runners getting in nice and early. But the top 11 still out on circuit. LaCour and Lovelace out then. LaCour will want to nail a few laps now as Gerhard Ocamp comes in from 22nd. Richard Evans in as well. Christopher Larson into the pits too. So it'll be very interesting. It's going to really mess with the standings a little bit. Martin Legg on circuit. There's Martin just ahead of him still with Daniel Smith, so they're still going strong. Pike in the purple Jaguar catching them up nicely too. So still some good battles to be waged here in the final 35 minutes. Driver's not coming in. Martin Legg carrying on as well. Andrew Pike. Now he comes in. I thought he would. I thought if he's not going to catch up to that group, he'll come in now. So in he comes. I said fairly early in. Not you don't often see them coming in very, very early for a pit window. You see a lot of the cars will leave it right until the middle of the pit window, or sometimes the second half. So go back on board with Killian. So getting as close as you can to Jerome. Jerome holding on nicely, but that gap has not been more than about 3/4 of a second at any point during this race. They'll be both pretty happy with how they're going so far. So the gap is about 6/10 at the moment. So they come around again. No pit stop for them quite yet then. Cormac about 10 seconds behind. They come out past Loveless then. Who, as we know, saw he took his pit stop a little bit earlier on. Kieran Sharp then in from 5th position. So he's maybe struggling to catch the group ahead. They were just branching out. They're all ending up in their own space really, not fighting anybody. So it'll be interesting to see that order once they are all pitted. Be interesting to see if Killian does follow Mormon in. Ian Hall comes in from 10th. So still a fair chunk of the pit window to go. Still another 10 minutes to make their way into the pit lane and make their mandatory stop. So that gap has been 6/10 for pretty much the entire race. And neither of them pitting still, so they will keep going. Keep on going. Kieran Sharp out of the pit lane then. Doing nicely. Oh, that is a slidey old Lexus, isn't it? Getting it round though. Definitely warming up the tyres, I can tell you that. Cormac comes in then. So in from 3rd. So Adam Stevens will keep continuing then. He has Jake Coombs, it looks like, just behind him. So it is. So those who weren't miles off, but they've obviously pitted, it drops you a long way back. Unless he's had another off, because he's behind. Yeah, he's behind cars he wasn't earlier on, so he's had another accident at some point. So Andrew Pike. Yes, it's all sorting itself out a little bit here. Good old Assetto Corsa timing lines, not the easiest. So yeah, Coombs and Pike 16th and 17th, 5 seconds between them, so they're a little bit stretched out. So it's fascinating to see how things differ just after the pit window. Matt Acton as well as Magato into the pits now then. Front three still going strong. So pits being mostly spread out then in this race. it'll be interesting to see where Cormac has come back out then. So he has come back out just in front of. So that's... Now that will be Mav Gardner, I believe. Yeah, it's doing well at the moment, up in 11th. Still needs to pit though. So again, just waiting for the AC to do its thing and put everyone into the right places once they've all sorted themselves out. So Killian coming into the pits then, as is Adam Stevens. So Jerome has kept going. He has. So yeah, Jerome's continued. So it's been very, very interesting. Taking a different strategy. Didn't want to just follow each other in. Killian thought he'd jump the gun. I bet he did quite a late move as well to make sure Jerome
still a long way to go.
Couldn't follow him in. So 7.5 more minutes to pit if they so wish. Daniel Smith, Loic Martin, Martin Legg, Dean Thompson, Mav Gardner and Thomas Martin all still needing to take a pit stop. As I say that, Daniel Smith and Loic Martin hop into the pit lane too. Martin Legg carrying on. So Killian just coming out now then. Where will he join? Keep an eye on who's further up the grid. So that's Christopher Larson. He'll be nearly a lap down, I think, anyways. Is it a shame? Obviously he had some issues earlier on. So hopefully Larson will be nice and careful here. Obviously, Killian just coming out on slightly colder tyres. Yeah, I think he'll be a lap down as well anyways, will Larson. Now, so Zamfir was the other driver we lost early doors. I think it was 4th lap, I believe. So just waiting for them to all sort themselves out. Again, you need to wait for them to go through a few timing lines and then you'll get a better idea of where the drivers actually are on circuit. So Cooney Sharp's 4.1 seconds back from Adam Stevens, who is 2 seconds back from Cormac at the moment. Again, it's going to be fascinating to see though where Jerome comes out. So he is still going. He is continuing. But I would not be surprised though if he makes his way in this lap. So Thomas Martin still into pit. Dean Thompson is in the pit now. Mav Gardner still needing to hop in. And then you've got Mormon and Martin Legg. Still required to make their mandatory pit stop. Well, Heinz Harald Bremsen down in 24th. Had a drive through, poor thing. So track limits obviously have hit him hard. He served it though. He's come back out. I wish the standing tower on the left went down a little bit further. That's why we didn't see it, unfortunately. So all sorting themselves out now then, having made their pit stops to see where everyone sits. So 100 Bikes having a really solid race then. He's jumped ahead of Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith down into 12th spot, car number 13. So Loveless up in 10th. Max is still in 9th. And yeah, the gap's a few seconds here or there. So again, still some wars to be fought. Go back on board with finding Jake Coombs then. So himself, Loic Martin, and Daniel Smith. Obviously Martin Legg was a part of this fight, but Martin Legg has not taken his pit stops yet. Jerome Mormon, no, has. He is sat in the pits. Martin Legg still going. Going very wide as well. Got to be careful. Fully expecting someone to get at least 1 or 2 drivers to get drive-throughs. He is indeed, yeah, out in the pit. So Boutman, for anyone who's not sure, is Mormon's name on like Discord servers and whatnot. So Legg's still going. Is he coming in now though? No, he isn't. So he likes to be like, I'm the leader. He likes to just be in the lead for 5 minutes. He won't be able to. He needs to make his pit stop in the next lap. So Mormon, has he nailed his pit stop then? This will be fascinating. So him and Killian were less than a second between them the entire race. Look at that. Oh, that's a very, very useful pit lane position. So what is the difference now then? Oh, it's not much, is it? It's not much, but it's enough. but Jerome will be on cold tyres. You can see him just up the road there, so he has stretched his lead a little bit. He's gained probably a couple of seconds there. But he's going to need to get those tyres up to heat quickly, and Killian is going to need to push on the warm rubber he's sat on already. You can see he's already making headway on Killian. So 3 seconds as he goes. Oh, stop go for Mav Gardner then for speeding in the pits. Thomas Martin sitting in the pits now. So Martin Legg's the only car that needs to still take his pit stop. Currently provisional leader on track. But actually that car just ahead of Jerome is Martin Legg, so he's got to be careful here. Technically it's for the position, but it isn't, because Martin Legg still needs to take his pit stop. You can see that, look at the gap getting closer and closer. Just come with Mormon then, so he's right behind Martin Legg. So it's a weird one here, because you wouldn't want to argue that Martin Legg's going to hold him up. Hopefully he won't, but because technically he's the leader. But I mean, it's a fight for position, but it isn't really. As I said, he still needs to pit anyways, so he'll make his way in now. Then he might as well. He's basically on the pit road already. But still, you'd say there, Jerome has definitely gained very good pit stop from him. So Thomas Martin's still coming out as well. So just him coming out of the pits, and then Martin Legg about to take his pit stop. Just in time, so we can see how the dust has settled. Thomas Martin just leaving the pit lane exit, as you can see. So 1.8 seconds, so gained about a second in total. Did Jerome on Killian. 1.8 seconds is that gap now. Let's go back on board with Jake Coombs though. He's got Daniel Smith. Screen just went weird. Don't know quite if there's something just changed there or someone left. I think everyone's still there. I think it's ACC just doing its thing when someone pits. I think it's probably Thomas Smith. So Thomas Martin going back down the order, I think, after his pit stop. Oh, you disconnected at the pit stop. Oh, no, Legg. Well, look, do what you can. Turn up next week and see what happens. Yeah, just your luck, really. That's a game thing though, isn't it? That's a disconnect at a pit stop. We've seen that happen a couple of times this season to other people, I think. Oh, I'm so sorry, man. You know, that royally sucks. Yeah. Sorry, dude. So then Coombs trying to hold off Daniel Smith and Oak Martin behind him. Got Pikes another 7 seconds up the road, so gained quite a lot of time over that pit window. Quite a way ahead of him though, he's Rob Lovelace. So the gap's quite sizable really. Adam Stevens saying that is not far off Cormac at all. So it says 8/10 there. There is basically no gap there. They are using a lot of the runoff though, so...
The window is now closed.
Oh, hello. Yeah, as long as you... I see, does it give you your laps back, Legg? I think he's still there. I think you're able to rejoin. I don't think you've lost any laps. So actually, I don't think... Carry on, mate. This is your not... You will get points for this. This will make a big difference. Yeah, it's a fair point. I forget you can rejoin here and carry on. As long as this is... Hopefully this still counts as serving your mandatory pit. If not, yeah, come round at the back because it's going to gain you points, mate. If it serves, yeah, you'll still do alright. You'll still get some good points. Fair play. Yeah, it's good thinking, that man. Good thinking. Yeah. There's definitely still points to be had here if you keep going. Well, no, you're a lap down on the leaders. You're not a lap, but you're on the same lap as a lot of the cars around you. Sort of from about 12th down, I think 13th or 14th down are a lap behind. So either way, people might make mistakes. Other people might disconnect, and those points might make the difference come the end of the season. They really might. Oh, 1 minute 40. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, you will be a lap down. Fair enough. But like you said, even if you come around at the end, it's going to be points. So Mav is having to serve a stop-go penalty now as well, so that's not going to help him. So 1.8 at the moment between Killian and Moorman up front. Quite a gap back to Cormac and Adam Stevens. Adam Stevens still nice and close. Cormac driving nicely. As I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a drive-through somewhere in this race. Last 15-20 minutes is probably when you'd see him. Oh, I can bet, leg, I can bet. A fair play to remembering you can jump back in. I forget you can do that on here. So when we got that little jump on the stream would have been when you rejoined. I don't think the other drivers would have it though, because we don't give them the custom deliveries, do we? So all for stream only, that is. And that's the reason why. So, not long left to go then. Final third of the race. Stevens looking for another podium. Mercedes finished second in both the races he's taken part in this season. He joined the season at the halfway mark. There were some spaces that became available. Hopped straight in. Another few drivers that didn't get in at the start. Rob Lovelace, Stevens. Because the sign-ups went so fast, went so quickly. So it's good that they can hop in now that they know they are available as well. Very, very close then. Very close. Cormac having to keep his eyes on the ball here. Although his eyes are probably on stalks at this point. Look how close. Look how close that Bentley is. As you can have a look. He's going to show his nose at the very least. Oh, look how close that was. You start getting a bit twitchy. We're going to make a move on the inside. Around the outside into the left-hander. Go for a little bit of a cut back. Cormac gets a decent exit. To come round to the final corner. The Dean Thompson, they get past there. Lets them go very nicely. As always very good in the blue flag situations is Dean Thompson. Or Captain Crampy, to those of us who've raced with him, or those of you that know of him from the Xbox leagues. So still very close between these two. So Killian has dropped down to 3 seconds behind Jerome Mormon now then. So he's clearly not had a good lap or two. He's lost more than, I think, about 1.2 seconds the last lap. And Jerome nearly setting his best lap last lap as well. So he's on it at the moment, pushing very, very hard. I thought I got away with that, Damien. So it'll be impressive if Adam can get podiums on all 4 of the races he takes part in this season. So there's a little bit of a fight on to try and get a podium this race though. So these guys are quite a way back from the lead too, 16.5 seconds to be precise. Killian is being dropped by Jerome every lap now, just over 4 seconds that gap. Adam Stevens about 4.2 seconds ahead of Kieran Sharp, but Kieran driving about a second a lap quicker at the moment, probably because these two are fighting. It's going to help him. Coming up to back markers as well. Joe LaCour down in 6th. Has Matt Acton now all over his rear. What's the accident there for Kieran Sharp? Maybe a little touch there with Dean Thompson. Don't think so though. I'm not sure. Didn't have Dean Thompson's car number. Just Sharpie. So Gould only knows why. I know you are, Sam. Don't worry. I can't get a surname like yours, mate. Can I? You know. Yeah, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. How are you, man? Looking forward to tomorrow. Another track I don't remember really watching or racing at, Motegi East Course, BMW 235i League. It's going to be fun. It's been a great league so far. Those race room leagues are a lot of fun. Really looking forward to the leagues in the new year. Got obviously the Christmas event as well. The team versus team event will be interesting, that. And it's on Tuesday, which is something a bit different. Yeah, man, it's going to be good. There's so much close fighting. Kieran's really pushing that car. Probably a bit harder than it can be pushed, but he really needs to at the moment. Cormac still holding off Larson nicely as well. And Jerome disappearing off into the distance now. 5 minute. God, he's quick, but he's not that quick. 5-second lead, more like. So we saw Max a minute ago all over the back of Joe Lacour. So Lacour always a reliable finisher in this kind of front of the mid pack or the rear of the front pack. They have to decide which one it is. But he's always there or thereabouts. Always one of those drivers that's not far from the podium spots. Very reliable, very studious driver. So Matt Axton as well, pushing really well. Driving Aston beautifully tonight. So make the most of those that have made mistakes as well. Joe going very wide. That's giving Matton a chance to get right up to his bumper then. So that's not what he wanted. So Axton, is he going to make a move then? He'll have to think about it. Joe very wisely decided to cover off that inside pretty much the entire way down the straight. I don't think so. I don't think so. He's setting okay times. They're 45.2s. They're not bad. They're quicker than everyone else in the race. Apart from Jerome. Jerome set a 44.2. So, I mean, to be honest, Jerome McCormack set a 44.7 last lap. But I don't think he's got any damage. I think it's just struggling on the tyres after he's come out. Have you tried ACC, Damien? Not sure. I don't think I've seen you on here. Just the race room. Just the race room leads. Oh, and there's a car around. That's Richard Evans then. It's an annoying place to be, but they should see him. Plenty of time. There are yellow flags are waving as well. He gets going again. So that'll suck, but he's still in a decent position for some good points. He's still driven a good race so far. He's still in 15th, so the gap's further back, a little bit bigger at the moment. So I think he hasn't lost any positions. We'll have to see. Again, fun old AC timing functionality. It's not always easy to work that one out. So if you see a few that are struggling on the new set of tyres, if they, it's the second half of this race, they find even less grip than they did in the first. Obviously, the track temperature is getting cooler. It's down to 20 degrees now. Still at optimum track conditions, though. Ah, nice man. Yeah, 100% put plenty of practice in if you haven't already. Trust me, it's a game that needs it. So Kieran Sharp still going strong, but 5.5 seconds back. So he's not really gaining time on Stevens, unfortunately. Still will be on for some decent points. It's been a tough old race this one, though. Bit of a survival of the fittest to a point. Well, Max, and then has got the move on Joe Lacour, so we just about missed that, unfortunately, but it's going to be a fight now. So Joe Lacour is not going to give that up anytime soon. Matt will have to go slightly defensive. He'll have to be careful he doesn't overshoot. Joe could go for that inside line. Never quite enough room there, so Joe just gets off the throttle. Make sure he doesn't tap Matt round. Matt now having to go on the defensive though. But Joe, oh no, fair enough, I think. I reckon there might have been that looked like he was letting him past on purpose there. So that looks like maybe Matt got past with contact. So yeah, it looked like he let him through. So fair enough if so. So they're very fair drivers. They're both cantankerous and angry in their own ways. But no, they're both good. They're both very good eggs. So you see them driving in community events in other communities on behalf of OTL and OTL teams, like the RCI race I streamed last Saturday. We've got another one coming up in a couple of weekends' time as well. The Jardier RCI 9-hour at Imola. I'll hopefully be having a watch along on the channel here as always. That'll be a thing I try to do as often as I can now, as we're taking part in more community events. David Daly then with the drive-through. So surprised we haven't seen more. Might see another one or two pop up in the final 10 minutes of the race. So Aston versus Audi then, as the sun's gone down. It's a good race so far. Some good close battles, as there always are. There's always some good fights. They don't often stretch out completely. There is a fair few chunky old gaps throughout the grid at the moment, but there are still plenty of people on for a good finish and some handy points. So I wonder if Leg realises he still needs to take his pit stop. Leg, if you're listening to the pit, to the stream still, you still need to make a pit stop, dude. And not that it'll matter, it'll just give you a 30-second penalty, won't it, I think? Or maybe more? No, it'll give you more than that, won't it? No, it would DQ you, I think. Either way, hopefully he spotted he needed to make a pit stop. Bit annoying, because he was in the pits when he disconnected. But such is life, isn't it? Life is not fair, unfortunately. So Pike back in 9th at the moment then. Solid race, 4.1 seconds back from Loveless, but 8 seconds clear of Jake Coombs in 10th. So he's on for another solid top 10 finish. Had quite a few of those this season. Dan Smith in 11th as well. Adam Stevens dropped back a little bit from Cormac. About a 2-second gap now. 1.9 seconds to be absolutely precise. So Daly takes his stop-go. Sorry, his drive-through, not a stop-go. Dear me, that would be harsh. Yeah, just a drive-through for the track limits. So final 10 minutes of the race. Will we see anybody get a drive-through? Could shake things up a little bit. Hopefully for their sakes, they will keep it nice and clean. Richard Evans having a bit of a nightmare. He's struggling in the second half of the race. He goes on to the runoff and the marbles as well, so they'll have to get those tyres back up to speed. So Stevens about 2.1 seconds back now, so you can see. Go on board with the dash cam. You can see this is the view he'll have of Cormac. So not too far. You know, they've done nearly just over 50 minutes now. And that is a podium finish up ahead of him if he can rein it in, or if Cormac makes a mistake. It's still in with his sight, within his sights, less than 2 seconds. So still plenty of time if he can nail a bunch of good laps together. The race might come back to him. Max and Joe, of course, still fighting it out as well. So you see just how much darker it's getting now. The lights having even more influence. Oh, that got close. I think Matt got a little bit code brown there. I think he was stood on his brakes, both feet there for a little bit, trying to get that thing stopped. And there we are, another drive-through, as I said. Then so they're coming from slightly further back in the field at the moment. That's Gerhard Ocon. So that will be his 4th track limit warning. So that will give you a drive-through penalty. So that's a massive shame. You have to serve that and come back out. Again, still points to be had though. It's not an easy circuit. It is fairly doable to get drive-throughs around here for the track limit warnings. So you can see Matt goes much later on the brakes. Has to basically stamp on them to get them stopped. Makes it very, very close, but then actually you can see Joe gets away a little bit out of the next couple of corners because he's got better momentum. So these two still fighting hand over fist for that position. Loic Martin's still on to be the lead AM driver then tonight. Currently sitting in 11th. Another good drive from the Belgian. Keeping drivers like Jake Coombs and behind him. It's a very accomplished Ferrari driver. Not had his greatest race tonight. Better than last week. I think it was last week where he had the car in the wrong engine map. Not that I'm sure it made a massive amount of difference, but basically set it into a certain engine map for the formation happened and left it there. That was annoying for him, I'm sure. Christopher Larson, right at the back of Richard Evans then. We saw Evans make a few mistakes, so he's dropped back into the clutches of Larson, who's kept going. So fair play, clearly didn't have the best of starts. But is still on to try and gain as many spots as possible, get as many points back as he can. Has kept going. Hopefully we'll get all the way to the end. He'll look to make his way down the inside of that Lexus then into turn 1. I'm not sure Richard Evans will fight it all too much. Leave each other room. Very good driving from both of them there. It's fair play from Evans in the Lexus too. Firm but fair. And Larson gets through then up into 15th. So again, all those positions will bring a few more points and they'll make a little bit of difference. So Killian's still going strong, but I think he had a little bit of contact just a second ago with, I think it was Sebastian Magato possibly, yeah, just behind him, says there was contact. And you saw how off it he was on the chicane afterwards. He's lost a good 1.5, maybe 2 seconds from that. That's something we check out afterwards just to see what happened there. So final 5 minutes then of the race. Adam Stevens has caught right up to the back of Cormac Ryan Mainan. So that podium finish is still a possibility. So Cormac a little bit down on his best time, but not by a huge amount. Stevens has been grinding away bit by bit then. And for the final 5 minutes, we've got a yellow flag. That's gone now. So just half a second between the two of them. So who's going to nab that final podium spot? Yellow flag out then. Someone having a bit of a nightmare on the inside, it looks like. I think that was Ocamp. Yeah, I think he's gone and retired straight back to the pit, so I think that might be him done then. I think he's finally flipped his lid after his drive through than that. So it's a shame if so. So these two still fighting hand over fist, as well as Acton and Lecourt. Well, it's a bit fighty. Not quite sure what happened in the early part of that. I think I would have liked to have seen another second or two before that. Looks like Joe's gone to the inside, Matt's Ranandami gone to the outside, and then he turned in. They've got a bit door bargy, but they're still both going okay. I think Killian might have got damage from his incident earlier with Magato, because he's 10.4 seconds away now. 11.9 back from 11.9 in front, sorry, of Cormac, but he's losing a good 2 or 3 seconds a lap, so he might be in a little bit of trouble if he's not careful. He needs to not have any more errors. So Acton and McCall clearly have had a bit of argy-bargy, a little bit of elbows out fighting during this second half of the race. Hopefully nice and clean though from here to the end. They are very, very close. Clearly both trying their utmost to get that 6th place. Joe trying to defend it. Acton trying to take it off him. It's got with Killian then. So did he get damage? I mean, his last couple of laps he's been way down. Doesn't look like he's got a damaged car. So I'm not sure he has. I don't know. We'll have to be interested to see again, find out afterwards from him what's happened. Oh, and Stevens goes long then. Can't use the excuse of Pike with his late apexes. Earlier on that was a very, very late apex. So loses a little bit of time to Cormac, then did not want to do that in the final 3 minutes of the race. Wanted to stay as close as possible, frankly. But made all that hard work to get up to the back of him. Does not want to ruin it by one silly little mistake like that. But it looks like he's pretty much catching back up to him quite quickly. Yeah, look at that. So he is on it. He's right in behind Cormac now then. Top two away, off and away in those positions. We're staying on board with these, fighting further back. So yeah, Cormac literally a little bit further away from Killian than he was earlier on. So Killian's doing okay, he's holding on enough now. So Jerome comes across the line for his final lap then. We'll go on board with him in a minute and a half or so. Should be pretty near the finishing line. So these two very close for a podium. So Cormac, the current holder of that 3rd place, but Stevens doing all he can to get that Bentley round. It's driving nice and smoothly. You can see Cormac is worried. Trying to shake that toe, and then Stevens is like, no, I'll be having it, thank you very much. Stevens will just have to keep it nice and clean. Cormac's going to have to be pretty much perfect this lap. Any mistakes, Stevens is so close, he will be straight past. So what can he do then? Final 45 seconds until the timer hits 0. Back on board as well with Joe LaCour and Axton. Those two have been very close over the last few laps. So still 6th and 7th. There's a Loveless doing okay as well. He's down in 8th, but not a bad race for him either. He's not been really involved in many fights necessarily, which is why we haven't been on board with him very often. Pike, we were on board with a little bit earlier on. Daniel Smith on for a top 10. Another solid race from him. Like Martin will be the leading amateur driver as well. Just behind him in 11th. I'm pretty happy with his day's work. Jake Coombs as well. He's having a fight with. That looks like a slightly wiggly car. So Ian Hall, it said he's had an accident. And it also said Jake Coombs has an accident. That car looks, I don't know, that doesn't look quite right to me for some reason.
The leader has finished the race.
Oh, sorry, Joe. Sorry, Joe. Jerome shouldn't have finished that quick. Well done, Jerome. Let's go board in quickly. So, well done, Jerome. Superb driving. You can see them coming over the line. The lap driver's just behind him. So, we didn't get to see much of Jerome in the second half of the race. He drove just too well. You want to be on stream more, you've got to be nearer some other cars. You have to be fighting for the position. So well done, Jerome. Clean with second, holds on in the end. Cormac. Oh no, so what's happened to him? Second to last corner. Now, is that his own off? Has he made his own mistake there, or has there been a tap? I don't think there's been any contact. I think that's all his own doing. And it looks like he's thrown away the podium on the final couple of corners. What a disaster that is for Cormac. See if Joe and Matt Acton, hopefully they'll keep it nice and clean till the end. So final corner then. So just got to hang on. It's a bit of driving from him then. Gets all the way around the final corner. Yeah, I think everyone looked like they suffered, man. Everyone's looked like they've hated this. And it comes over the line. Well done then. Joe takes 6th ahead of Maxon, who took 7th spot. Good driving from both of them. Loveless coming home in 8th. Well done, Pike, bringing home that Jag in for a top 10 yet again. Well done there, Fish. Oof. I might have seen a few. Jake, I was on board with a few people. There was some, yeah, there was some, yeah, just yeah. Smith then, final corner. That Aston in the top 10. Well done. Another good drive from him. And Loic Martin, I think, will be the last driver then to technically finish the race. All the other cars being lapped have already finished. Well done. Well done. Oh no, Cormac's game throws second to last corner just before he's come up. I've had that happen on here as well. So that's gutting. So he's lost. He's lost a 3rd spot. He's lost a 3rd spot due to that. How gutting. He finished 5th in the end. So Kieran just kept a solid drive. Got it all up to 4th in the end. So well done to them. So Jerome with the win. 11.7 seconds. Not much you can say about that. His first win of the season. Fully deserved. We always know he's had the pace. But he's brought it home tonight. A track that would favour the Ferrari in the AMG. Well driven, very well driven, well done. Killian, Ryan Meenan coming home in 2nd spot. Adam Stevens, because of Cormac's issue with the screen freeze right at the end. Yeah, pretty much, 2 seconds. Adam Stevens then taking 3rd, Kieran Sharp with that 4th. Cormac unfortunately dropping down to 5th in the end. Joe LaCour taking 6th, just ahead of Matt Acton. Loveless taking 8th with Andrew Pike in 9th and Daniel Smith finishing in 10th. Oh, Jerome, you were finishing on your all 3 warnings. Oh, that's very Code Brown. Oh, that's not nice, is it? Oh, that's nasty. And around this track, that's brave. I mean, it's not brave. It's it was your own fault, but you get the gist. Very well done, though, Jerome. First win of the season. Superb, man. Superb. So yeah, Killian's lead at the start of the season was the start of the night was 63 points. Pretty much a whole race win to Christopher Larson. Christopher Larson finished down in 15th. So yeah, that is the title then. Going to Killian yet again. Superb driving. Well done, Killian. Congrats on another title. And yeah, very, very good. It'd be interesting to see if Stevens maybe and those guys could fight being from the start. How that might change things. But you fully deserved it. Well done. So taking advantage as well of Kieran not being able to do every race. It's been a shame, but it's been awesome when he's been able to fight with you this season. Hopefully we'll see more of that in the future too. You didn't get P22 leg, you got, because you got 130-second penalty because you had a what is it called? You didn't serve your mandatory pit technically because you came in and you disconnected, so it puts you behind. Yeah, we'll work that one out afterwards. But you get the gist. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so how many of them got home in the end? So it was 23. So Ocamp did retire 3 laps from the end, 4 laps from the end. Thought you might continue, but clearly had been royally miffed by that point. Fitzpatrick retired on lap number 5. And Zamfi Radu retiring at the lap before. Yeah, well done though, Loic. Leading AM driver tonight, finishing just outside the top 10. Really cracking drive that. Last driver on the lead lap. Well done. Yeah, really, really well driven in that AMG. Oh, look at that. And the time of day changes. Lovely. Well, shut up, crew chief, I'm talking. So, yeah, but I don't know whether that all... Did you check? When did it disconnect you, though? What stage were you in your pit stop when it disconnected you? Either way, we'll work it out afterwards. You might just have to take the final finishing spot. I mean, points are points, but you might have to, like you said, you just jumped back in and got going. Well done, Smithy. So I called him Smithy. Never called you that before, but well done on your top 10. Well done, Smudger. It's a great driving again. It's still probably one of my favourite liveries, if not my favourite livery on the grid, apart from Sharpie's bright orange bright orange OTL Lexus, of course. Not biased, but unbiased. But yeah, superb. Well done to Killian then. Fully deserved championship win. So that's, I think, 5 wins from 7. Yeah, he's had 5 wins, 2 fourth positions at Silverstone and at... I've forgotten what circuit that would have been. That would have been Misano. But other than that, he's won every other race. So superb. Well done. And yeah, second title then for Killian Ryan Meenan. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that racing tonight. I'm sure we'll get a few incidents popping through the usual means for us to look at over the next few days. They look like there were definitely some what the broadcaster likes to call accidents. But we'll go through them later on as they come through, and we will adjudicate them as we always do. So yeah, come back hopefully tomorrow and join me again for round number 5 of our BMW 235i Championship. That is on Race Room. That is from Twin Ring Mategi East Course. Nice, rolls off the tongue that one does. So yeah, the penultimate round of that BMW 235i Championship on Race Room. Looking forward to that. And then yeah, next week, final round of this championship. So Killian already has it wrapped up, but a few more positions to be fought for, especially that there's amateur positions at AM stand-ins. That final race being 90 minutes, and it is at Spa-Francorchamps. So it should be awesome. So I do like a 90-minute race, and I do like myself a bit of Spa. So join me then, and then we have the final race next week as well for the BMW League on Race Room, and that is from Sonoma Raceway. So looking forward to seeing that. I haven't seen that on any other game other than Project Cars. I do love myself a little bit of Sonoma, so that should be fun. 3 races a night there. So there tomorrow. 3 races as always. Reverse top 8 for the second and third races. So yeah, do join me if you are free. Would very much enjoy your company. Yeah, love it. Couldn't get rid of him. Awesome. It will be lovely. Awesome, Smudge. Awesome. I'm just saying it now just because you're... I may say that every 3 words. I don't know. I'm completely oblivious to it. Well done, Rob. Well done, man. Said decent finish in 8th. I didn't really get to watch you much. You weren't really fighting with anybody. A bit boring, Rob. Come on. Do something more thrilling. I mean, no crashing and all that, but thrilling, you know. If you sandbag a bit if you have to. No, but no. An undramatic race is what you want, really. So fair play. So yes, cheers everybody for your company this evening. Hopefully I will see you tomorrow for the penultimate round of our Race Room BMW 235i League from Mategi East Course. Oh, I couldn't quite get the power down. Great racing. Oh, good. Oh, well, good. Glad to hear it, man. Glad to hear it. But yeah, hopefully everyone you can join me tomorrow night for a bit of Race Room. But if not, hopefully have a wonderful Friday and a safe weekend. And I will catch you all next time. So see you soon and goodbye.